Yeah, I mean, the conversation of jobs. Mitch Roschelle, let's talk about that for a second. Do you think CEOs can convince the president that a border tax is not where we should be going? Trump initially said he found the House Republican tax proposal too complicated. So he wasn't a fan from the beginning.
6 o'clock in the morning, you're picking on the one accountant talking about taxes. So let's talk about border adjustment tax for a second. So the retail industry doesn't like it, and I'll tell you why, but the aerospace industry likes it, all right? So
good point.
The retail industry doesn't like it because they're saying, National Retail Federation is saying 15% increase in the price of goods because of the border adjustment tax. That translates to $1,700 per family in the first year of implementation. Put it into perspective, last year Americans on average spent about $1,500 on holiday shopping. So that really could mess up the retail industry.
You're saying if the importers have to pay more at the border, they're just going to go raise their prices? They
have to raise their prices because let's look at the retail industry. They're suffering in many respects, and you increase their accountant's fee, cost of goods sold, by something significant, and next thing you know, there goes their profits. They're working on very narrow margins as it is.
So that's the argument, but not all the leaders in the retail industry think the border tax is a bad idea. Big export companies like Boeing, General Electric, and Pfizer are uniting to actually support an import tax. And Steve Hilton, isn't this a tax that is sort of almost like a catch-up to the rest of the world? A lot of countries have either a VAT tax or a border adjustment tax.
Exactly. There's a real fairness argument that actually there's a double taxation going on for companies producing things in other countries, because in Americans compared to other countries, because they have the companies can offset their own taxes, and also you have these consumer taxes. So I think that this would create a level playing field. That's the argument for it. But actually, I'm with the president on this in his first instincts. I think his economic instincts are pretty good. And I think too complicated is a good word for it. And I think that things that are complicated just get in the way of entrepreneurs and business. And I think there are simpler ways to achieve the fairness in trade that he rightly is looking for. And I think overall there's an even bigger point, which is the tax change that will make the biggest difference to jobs in this country is actually the big corporate tax cut and the repatriation tax. Those two things which he promised in the election campaign, those are the things that we need to see quickly. And the thing that I'm really concerned about is what you're hearing from Washington is that that's going to take for ages because we've got to do Obamacare and so on. And I just don't understand why they can't get on with it and deliver that part of it, because that'll do more than any of these other things to boost the economy.
Just cut taxes.
What is the most important thing for Trump to do in his first 100 days? New Fox News poll. Extremely or very, number one, 52% say cut taxes.
Great.
Number two, replace Obamacare, 49%. That is what is the most important thing for Americans. Not only are President Trump's economic instincts right, we know his political instincts are unparalleled. Politically, a border adjustment tax that raises prices at the retail level, that raises the cost of your gasoline potentially, nobody in their right mind would vote for that unless they can be assured that it wouldn't happen. And these retail CEOs are saying the opposite. I don't think, I know those are the discussions among even Republican congressmen of like, are we going to do something that raises taxes on our constituents, even if it's at Target and Walmart? And the answer is going to be no.
So how do you raise revenue then? Look, there's an argument to be made. You don't. You just cut taxes. But the GOP says we want this to be revenue neutral, and a border adjustment tax raises $1 trillion.
But making revenue neutral immediately is a real challenge, especially if the headwind is complication. Because the argument that, you know what, there'll be a corporate tax benefit and you'll sort of get the savings there, but not if you take the profits away because we raise the cost of doing business by having a tax at the border. I think the American people want simplification. They've been yelling about it in every in every cycle.
And a better way to achieve what is a good aim in terms of revenue is to cut spending. I mean, we know there's so much waste in government spending, and again, that's an area that I think Trump's got good instincts on. So
they're planning that, right? I mean, he's got a hiring freeze in terms of jobs in government.
Right, exactly. You've seen the job creation in government. There's been job losses in the last 4 months, and even
I don't know if that tips the needle on anything, but you know.
Again, if there's an eye toward cutting spending at the federal level. That certainly helps. But Art Laffer has been on your program saying they need just broad-based tax reform. You worry about the revenue down the road.
And Steve Forbes, who you've mentioned so many times.
He hates the border adjustment tax
He does.
because of the complication.
He was on with us yesterday.
Because, again, it's winners and losers. You're picking winners and losers when you're talking about this. And the idea is, oh, the dollar would increase, that would offset the tax on these companies. But again, that's frankly pie in the sky.
Yeah.
It's a classic example of people, the economists, who don't operate in the real world.
Right.
You know, working it out on paper, but actually the people who have to deal with it, businesses operating in the real world, find it just too
right. Their response is expletive, 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 expletive.
Well, what about this? Americans are feeling optimistic now about the economy under Trump. I guess there's an anticipation out there that things are getting better or will get better. 55% of voters say that they feel that the economy will be stronger a year from now. Do you think we are on an upward trend? We've already seen evidence of that as it relates to corporate earnings.
Right.
Corporate earnings up almost 7% in the fourth quarter.
We are, if he actually gets on with it, and not just him, because of course he needs Congress. They need to get on with it.
Right.
They need to do it quickly. The expectations are there. I'm sure that Trump wants to match them and do it quickly. But I think so far he's not pushing back enough on Paul Ryan and those in Congress who say, well, this is all very difficult and it's going to take a long time. No, he was elected to shake things up and change business as usual.
Probably because there have been other priorities, the borders and Obamacare.
Optimism helps the economy. Bottom line, people spend more, people invest more, and if we can keep the optimism level high, it's going to help the economy.
All right, we'll leave it there. We'll take